Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and welcome to another ENFP male interview. Today, I get to interview Yvonne. So, Yvonne, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
So, Yvonne, can you tell us your full type, please?
Yeah, so I'm an INTP, double feminine, consume, play, sleep, blast.
And when you got your results back, what did you think and how did you feel?
Oh, it was horrible. I, I just was so stuck on the idea that I was an ENFP for like 2 years. And I just really heavily identified with that. And obviously being TI, like I'd built up like constructs of what I believed each personality type to be and what I was, and finding out that that was all wrong and that I actually couldn't see myself. Like I thought I was the exception to everyone, and that I just like could see myself and I knew my type, and Dave and Chan were just going to confirm it for me. So yeah, it was like, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, like a lot of processing and reflecting on my life and seeing myself, I guess, from a new lens, and realizing, I guess, that my core fears have always been, to do with people and all of that. It's the pieces are starting to come together a lot. So yeah, but it was hard initially. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that you thought you were an ENFP because I think most people who type themselves usually end up with INFJ, INTJ, or ENFP. It's like it's always those three. So
literally, yeah. I think anyone who probably has like consume and play as their saviors as well probably think they're some sort of an ENFP, just because it's the description of one a lot. But yeah, no, it's like now I'm trying to like reconstruct in my mind like who even are ENFPs in my life, like because I thought like I was using myself as a point of reference, for judging everyone else's personality type too. So I thought I was seeing everyone through an ENFP lens, but it's like, no, like most of my friends are actually probably INTPs who I thought were ENFPs and all that jazz. It's like, yeah, I just really had built up a lot of constructs about personality types, which I guess is a really decidery thing to do as well, because it's like I'm just like trying to figure out people constantly and make connections and stuff with my NE and all of that. So yeah.
If you're an IP, then chances are a lot of your friends are probably EJs because they're the opposite, right? So
do you think that's how it works?
There's a higher probability that that's what's happening. I mean, not all, of course. Everyone has friends with different. I have I have INTP friends, for example. So it's fine.
Yeah, I think I could. Yeah, I think with EJs, I definitely do gel with them a lot. I think we do provide a good balance for each other, but it's also like they can make you feel more selfish, like not in a like not meaning to, I guess, but just by how selfless they can be. It's like, oh shit, like I'm they just make you realize how much you can be focused on yourself, I guess. But yeah.
Well, I think as an INTP, it would be easy for you to interact with an EJ because the EJs, they don't want to talk about themselves, and then you're an IP, so you want to talk about yourself. So it's like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be like unbalanced either, where I'm just like talking about myself. So I think EJs do tend to talk about themselves or like their opinions on things a lot, especially if they're thinkers. So I guess it's not that they don't talk about themselves a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a different flavor, I guess.
Maybe in a one-on-one setting, they would talk about themselves, but you go in a group setting, then that's kind of when they hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to pry at them as well, like, to talk about themselves. And, like, I feel like I would ask them a lot of questions like, oh, so what do you think about this? And what do you, feel about this? And yeah, so it's like you kind of try to bring it out of them, I guess, and bring out their inner IP or something. I don't know.
I do find though that consume play INTPs, even though they talk about themselves, they still like to hear other people talk about themselves too. It's because they like to consume and they like to do the play thing. So
yeah, true. I do actually like, that's why I thought I couldn't be an IP as well, because like I actually do genuinely really like people and interacting with people, and I think there's something to learn from everyone. I guess that's like the NF play part of me. I just think I want to like jump into everyone's shoes and see things from their perspective and their worldview. And I guess that's play.
Well, since your play's NF, so I guess it's you're always trying to figure out like what people are up to, or like what their purpose is or their goals are, trying to see like the motivation behind it. Like, is that kind of stuff that kind of interests you when you talk to other people? Or
to an annoying degree, I think. Like, especially people aren't into that kind of conversation, and I just want to go like really deep with them in that way, you know, because that's what I think life is all about, like discovering or uncovering your purpose, obviously being an IP. So yeah, I definitely, that's like the majority of my, like, well, I wouldn't say like, obviously I can talk about a lot of things, but to get to know a person, it's like I really want to know what are their core, I don't know, goals for life. Yeah, so that would be NF play, right?
That would be part of it, yes. So, you know,
yeah.
I mean, I like to reference Jordan Peterson because he wrote a book, 12 Rules for Life. I don't know if you've read it, but like
read his second, but not the first one. Beyond Order.
I haven't read the second one yet, but the first one, he said that meaning does not come to it. Meaning something that is something you don't create. It's something that comes to you. So I think he was talking about NF play in that case because he's also the same function stack as you, just different order, right? So. So I was like, okay, well, obviously he would say that because of his specific type, you know, like, you know, because, you know, if you were like an INTJ, then the meaning comes to you from within, right? Because they have it in sleep, right? So it's a little bit different for you guys. For you guys, you do have to do it with like other people, you know, in like collaboration or interaction.
Yeah, I feel like I still do kind of know my goals in life. That I've kind of come to that conclusion myself. But I do like to share it with other people, and I like to connect with them on that basis, I guess. I'm not like, it's hard to know. Maybe I'm just not seeing myself correctly, like, but I don't know if I get my meaning in life. Like, I love, as I said, connecting with other people, but I don't know if I get my meaning of life from other people, like from what they say. Obviously, because I'm an IP, I don't know. I have to kind of still think about that one.
I think goals and doing something purposeful are not quite the same. So you can have your TI goals, but in terms of something like more emotional, I think it does come from others. I mean, that's just my perception. Yeah.
And I do have FE, I guess, as well. So connecting with others, for me.
Well, can you talk about that? So you like to interact with people. You have savior play. Can you talk about so because you're an IP, you're supposedly your biggest fear is tribe hate and getting abandoned, right? But then you still like to be with people. So can you talk about like the irony of that or the paradox of that? You know, it's like kind of interesting.
Paradox. Yeah, no, it's a part, like life is a paradox in that way that, like, you know, your greatest fears are stemming from your worst function, like something you're gonna not be the best at. But I guess the way I connect with people is like with my NF play, like I'm really in the moment with them and trying to figure them out and whatever. But then at the end of the day, as being a DI, like I'm always going to live life my way. But like, I don't think I let people see that side of me that quickly, that like I am DI and that, like, you know, my word is like everything at the end of the day for me. I don't know. Like I generally do gel with most people, I think, because of my play as well. Like, but then when I do have a tidal wave, it's obviously tough. Like, because that's my biggest fear. Sorry, that's just such a rambly answer.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know. It is a paradox, definitely. So I think I try not to. I try to be like, you know, gel with everyone as best as I can, like to avoid that rejection. That potential rejection. So I'd say I wouldn't get kind of tribe tidal waves maybe as much as other IPs just because I do have that play,
right?
You know,
right? Yeah, I think the savior play does give you an edge over the other IPs for sure.
I do think it balances me out a good bit, I think. I mean, when I was a kid, like my FE was obviously underdeveloped. Like I still was a playful kid and I enjoyed everyone's company, but like I definitely could be more abrasive with my TI and just like very like coming out with just such straight up stuff to kids. Like I made a few kids cry before. I was like thinking about all of this, you know, after I got my type, but like I just say very straight up things, not meaning to hurt them. And then when I would get rejected by them, I was like, oh shit, like, you know, so that's kind of, that helps you develop your FE. You have to learn the hard way as an, I think, growing up, you know, you can't just say what you want to people and not have to suffer the emotional consequences of them, you know.
Well, you can say whatever you want, but you have to balance it with like being nice. It has to be like double decider, right? It has to be
yeah,
like
true.
You can't just like you can insult people, but you have to say a compliment after, or like you can compliment them, and you have to insult them after. Like it has to be always balanced, right? Like you everything like the double decider way is like everyone has to be like balanced and you know, like if someone's going too hot on a high horse, then you gotta bring them down, right? Or
Yeah,
you know, like an IP is like going to, you know, like I'm better than all of you, like rampage, then you kind of like gotta knock them off their horse, right? But then when someone is
yeah.
like being insecure, then you kind of gotta bring them
Have
up,
to,
right? So that's like the double decider way, right? So
yeah.
you know.
Which I mean, I don't know if I've obviously, yeah, if I can do that really. Like, I guess I use my play to try to like double decide or whatever. But yeah, I've definitely learned as I've grown up as well to respect the FE more. So yeah, and to balance it.
Let's talk about your well, okay, so you have savior play, so you're not likely to get tidal waves from the tribe. I mean, you had it when you were a kid, but like now you're probably you're probably used to it by now. To use
Yeah.
the play. But what about the fear of you know, the tribe leaving you? Like, is that something that never goes away? Is that something that's like ever present, or is that something
Yeah,
that
100%. And it does, I think it can make me overly agreeable. I think in certain situations, like I was when I was younger, like when I was like in my teens, maybe like 13, I was like, that was like the only time in my life I was like straight up rejected by the tribe, and it definitely left a mark. Like it was like obviously, yeah, my biggest fear come true. Like just two of my friends, I just like wasn't putting the time and effort into my friendships with them, and I wanted to spread my wings and be friends with more people and whatever. So that was when I was 13, and yeah, they just got sick of my shit and said, you know, we're done with you. So yeah, since then I think I was like really overly agreeable for a long time, and then if I did end up becoming friends with a group of people, I would never want to step on anyone's toes. You know, I was really overly cautious, I guess, in that way, which is really draining. You know, if you're trying to, I think, a self-censor around certain people. But then, yeah, I've like done a lot of healing work since then, so it's not as much of an issue. Like I feel like I can once again be more straight up with people, without that fear of rejection as much, you know, in the back of my head. And like knowing that it's kind of all just like part of my personality programming as well, I guess helps. You know, knowing it's probably blown out of proportion in my head, the people problems as well. So yeah.
maybe it's the double feminine thing. You tend to go with the flow as a result. That's kind of like what I'm seeing with double feminines is there's like a tendency,
Yeah.
yeah, like in a group setting, it's like, okay, whatever the group wants to do, whatever. I don't care, you know, just go with the flow.
Yeah, like on it. Like I'm yeah, like I'll have my own opinions, but I'm not gonna, yeah, like if the group is doing a certain thing, I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're having fun, it's fine until like I guess if it's not fun anymore, then that's when your DI would come out, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Or I think my TI comes out when if I see someone who has like beliefs that are harmful to themselves or others or something, I kind of feel like obligated to kind of, you know, start punching holes in their logic and, you know, try to uncover the truth more, I guess, or, you know, yeah, lead them to insight. Not that I have it all worked out ever. Like I can be, you know, illogical myself, but I think, well, I think when it's appropriate, I will be opinionated on certain subjects. Because I do think the truth, obviously, like being TI, like I think it's like liberating, and I think everyone should want to get to the truth of things. So yeah, that's kind of how I operate, I guess. But in general, yeah, I'll just kind of like keep my opinions to myself a lot of the time.
I think the TI is awesome when it comes to double observing, but when it comes to people, it definitely becomes like irrational. It's like it's no longer, you know, the truth, you know. So
yeah. Do you have any like what why do you say that with TI? Like what do you have any examples or
okay, you know, like TI is self, right? And then
yeah.
FE is other is the tribe. So a TI person might be doing a lot of things that they might perceive as something logical, right? But at the end of the day, everything that you do is motivated by you being happy, right? Like why do you want to get anything? It's to be happy, essentially, right? So I feel like with TI, kind of losing my train of thought here. My NE is going crazy. Give me a second. Okay, so if your goal is to be happy and and you're using your TI to elevate yourself above everyone else, you know? And then you get to a point where you alienate everyone, then you lost your happiness, which is connecting with others. So your thought process of how to elevate yourself to the top actually reduce your happiness. So in a sense, it's kind of illogical because the end goal was happiness to begin with. And you shot yourself in the foot because you didn't take the time to help elevate the tribe as well, you know, while you were elevating yourself. So that's kind of like one example of how I see TI being kind of illogical.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I guess once again, the one edge I have is just being savior play. Like, I do know that the tribe is important to me. So like, I guess I don't know if I'd get to a point where I'd completely isolate myself from them. Unless I was going through like, I don't know, a bad phase of my life or whatever. But it would never be, the end goal to, go too deep on my TI that I disconnect from everyone. I guess the way I see it is like, the reason I want to go so deep on my TI is like, so that I can eventually help people with what I've learned, you know? And yeah, I guess in a way that is isolating, because you're going so deep on yourself. But yeah, I don't know. I guess with play, I'm kind of like, I still do know that I need that connection with the tribe. So hopefully that, keeps me going.
Right. I mean, you're probably not going to be the worst like IP at this, because like the savior play, you know, it eliminates a lot of the potential problems that you're gonna have.
Just knowing that you do genuinely, like, you get such fulfillment from people and everything like that does help. And I think it does kind of steer your goals in a certain direction as well. Like, you will incorporate the tribe in your end goals somehow. Like, I never envisioned myself like the thoughts of me just being alone out doing, I don't know, some TI thing, like it doesn't appeal to me really, if people aren't going to be there. Obviously that's such an IP thing to say, but yeah.
So in the Facebook group, people said that you seem to have the SF part of your type like pretty good. It seems like, which is interesting because you are SF last and your blast, which is your blast, right? Your blast is SF, right? So you seem to understand the cool factor and like how to be cool.
Wow.
It seems that way from an outsider perspective. But you're lead NT, so you're technically a nerd. Can you talk about being a nerd but still being interested in like the stuff that would be deemed as popular or cool, like?
I think, to be honest, I might appear at SF in my appearance or something, or I don't know. But no, at the core, I'm just such a nerd, and I will go deep on the nerd stuff, like especially with my consume, like science and whatever, psychology, all that stuff. With SF, like, I wouldn't say I'm like, this is a really oversimplified view of SF probably, but like, I'm not all into like TikTok or what's trending on TikTok, or like, I don't know, certain trends, like kind of, but not really. They're not my, maybe I have an awareness of them, I guess, but I wouldn't say that it's that developed like compared to my NT. Like, I think my appearance maybe is deceiving in that way, but like definitely it's NT all day. Like, that's what I want to talk about. Yeah.
Well, I think the appearance sometimes is enough. That's enough SF for you to get by, like to.
Yeah, true. And I think, well, just because I'm younger, I think, maybe being on social media from a young age, that kind of made it easier for me to like do the SF and know what was SF cool. And I guess being like double feminine as well, I do kind of like visual stuff and whatever. But yeah, like when it comes to, I don't know, sorry if I'm like offending SF, but like if it comes to like, I don't know, following certain celebrities or certain trends, like I'm not really that proficient at that, I don't think.
Well, your SF is blast, so it's more like you trying to guide someone on how they should behave socially. So it's so it's more like, or like helping someone feel comfortable or feel good, right? So like I have a friend who's an INTP. Dave and Shan typed him, but they didn't give him the full animals. I don't know his full animal. I'm guessing he's consume, play, sleep, blast. He seems to have blast last problem. Like he doesn't communicate very well. But he likes to play and joke around with people. So for him, as he got older, he seems to understand that, like, if I'm over at his house and it's too cold, he'll give me like a cup of hot tea, for example, to drink to make me feel comfortable, right? He'll see me freezing. So he's like FE starting to activate. It's like, yeah. So, but it's like, here, drink this tea, or like he'll like once in a random blue. Usually he's like socially inappropriate, but like once in a while, like out of the blue, which would totally like caught me off guard. He'll be like, I'm not sure if I should bring this person to this party. This person might feel awkward. I'm like, huh? Where is this coming from all of a sudden? Like, but it wasn't like that wasn't he was like a complete douchebag, like jerk, like we were growing up. And then, but as he got older, he seems to be tapping into his FE now. I'm like, huh?
I get that. Yeah, I guess I've kind of been thinking about that. Maybe why do I like helping people or whatever? And I think it's like, I think it comes from my demon FE, like back to the fear of rejection thing. Like, I just want everyone to feel comfortable as, like, this is going to sound cringy, but like, I don't know, I want everyone to feel comfortable as like being who they are and validated for who they are. Cause I just know that like being a person, like it just goes so deep. Like there's so many layers to who a person is, like they have their personality framework and their belief systems and whatever else like goes into, who they are as a being. And it's like, to just invalidate them for that, it's just like not nice, like, I don't know, I think there's enough suffering in the world and it's nice like to add some happiness to someone's life if you can. But then I guess there's also a negative to that, because like it's like you can make someone feel really comfortable and validated, but then you still kind of have your own judgments of them and of how, sorry, something just popped up there.
Yeah, no worries.
So you still have your judgments of them and like you, and you still have your judgments of the world and stuff. So you're not always gonna maybe want to like be really close with them, but they might want that with you just because you make them feel like validated or something. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Kind of, but keep going.
I'm going on a tangent here. So it's kind of like, I do think I like to make people feel comfortable, but it's also like I don't know if I want to be friends with everyone at the same time, even if it appears that way. I don't know, or if I make people feel comfortable. I don't know what I'm trying to say, honestly. It's, yeah.
I want to ask you about friendship. So like your history with your friends, essentially.
Yeah.
So you have SI, right? So I guess there's a part of you that would value having that long history with someone. Is that something that's true? Would you say for yourself? Like if you have a friend, if you're friends with people, there is a part of you that like values the fact like, oh, we've been friends for 10 years or 20 years or whatever, like is there a part of you that like values the length of friendship?
I guess I do see the value in being friends with someone for a long time, not just because like purely because of the length of the friendship. Like that's valuable to me. It's more just like they've seen you progress through different stages of your life, and it's like you can share funny memories or like share funny stories together of memories you had together when you were younger. So I find that part of it valuable. And there are some friends I've had for a good few years, like a long time, and I do appreciate those friendships. I feel like it's nice when someone's known you from a young age. It's not as fleeting of a friendship, I guess. Like it's more grounded, I guess, would be. What about you? What would you say?
For what?
UFSI as well. So would you?
Oh yeah. A lot of my friends, usually when I make friends, they're my friends for a long time. Like if like, the thing is for me, if I guess it's my double decider coming in, but like like when I talk to people, I can gauge right away if I like them or not, and if I can see us being friends or not, like long term. And if I don't see us being friends long term, I'll be like courteous to the person and I'll be friendly to them. But like I'm not gonna invite them over to my house to hang out and stuff, or like hang out outside of work or whatever. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'll be friendly with them, of course, because still it's a coworker or acquaintance, whatever. But yeah, I can see. But like if I do decide that I want you to be my friend, then chances are I want you to be a lifetime friend. Like I don't just make friends. Yeah. So I think that's like a lot of my friends I've known since I was like I was looking at my history of friends. Like I've known a lot of them for like 20 plus years, you know. So it's like, wow. Yeah. So I do have like a deep history with them. I'm like if someone's becoming a, you know, someone's being a dick, and it's like reoccurring for years after year after year, and they're not like doing anything about it, or maybe they're unaware of it. I don't know. That I have no problem cutting them off. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't do it often. Like if I look back at the friends I've actually cut off that I have like a long history with, it's only like one person. So it's, you know.
Yeah. I think it's like really important to be picky with your friendships as well. As you said, you know, determine whether like there is substance to it in the first place, and then go from there. You know, like I know it can be hard to have like the full judge of character of a person from the start, but you can't get a good sense of who a person is. And then, like if you're more picky with your friendships, like they are obviously more likely to last longer. But I did hear as well that, you know, the older you get, the harder it is to kind of make friends, I guess, because it's like people, it's harder. It's just harder, is it? Like, or how you said that you found it kind of more difficult?
Not for me. I make friends really easily, but my girlfriend doesn't. It's harder for her, but she's
really?
She's sleep consumed. So you know, like I'm play blast, so I'm an extrovert. You know, so yeah, if I can make friends and meet people really easily. Like it's like so random too. Like one time, like I went backpacking for a year, for example, and I stayed in his hostel for like 5 hours only. And then I made friends with this like Ukrainian guy. And then before you know it, like I'm visiting him in Ukraine, and you know, I'm staying over at his apartment, and we're like, you know, he introduced me to all his buddies. You know, we go out, you know, eat, like go to restaurants and stuff. So
that's so cool. Like, because I feel like I go traveling every summer, and I like just make new friends in that country, and like we'll just be going to nightclubs together as if we've been friends for years. I think once you connect with a person on like a personality level and you just get each other, it's like very easy for the friendship to develop. So I think I'd be the same in that regard.
I feel like IPs are misunderstood, but obviously IPs also have their downfall. So I make friends with a lot of IPs. Like I noticed when I traveled, I made friends with a lot of IPs, whether that be INTP, INFP, whatever, right? And I usually hit it off with them like pretty quickly. Like that guy that I visited in Ukraine, he's an IP for sure, right? Now, so the good thing about IPs is like once you become friends with them, then usually you stay friends. The problem with IPs, they don't stay in touch with you, so you have to stay in touch with them because they don't reach out to people. So they do want, and then it's really weird because like I've talked to other IPs, even play last IPs. it's so weird, you know. Like I'll play like I'm friends with like an IP in the Facebook group, right? And then like I'll message him, it's like, oh man, I'm like, please keep in touch with me. I'm like, oh, I thought you're playing last, you don't like to talk to people. But no, IPs like it when people reach out to them. But then I'm like, but you never reach out to anybody. So it's like, it's like a weird thing, you know. It's like you love it when people reach out to you, but you don't do it back. So I'm like,
it's not too balanced. I used to think it was well, I mean, sorry, I only found out my type 2 weeks ago. For the past 2 weeks, I thought it's because I'm last that I am bad with communication with people. But then I am also friends with a lot of IPs, and they'll kind of do the same to me. So it's like I don't take offense to it really. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll catch up in a few weeks and it's fine. But I can see how that'd be annoying for other people, I guess. Like, you know, for an IP to just disappear for a while and then just like, you know, reach out of nowhere or not even reach out at all. So I guess it's something to be aware of. It's never done with bad intentions though. Like for me personally anyway, I guess maybe we don't realize that it would like affect a person or whatever, you know, having demon FE.
I think a pure EJ would get affected by that, but like I'm a double-sider, so for me, when an IP doesn't do that, I'm like, yeah, that's just them. They're self-absorbed. I get it. You know, So thanks, I just be like, okay, well, you know, I'll reach out to them once a year, you know, kind of deal, right? So
and it's like it doesn't mean like for me personally as well, it doesn't mean I don't value the friendship. Like I do. And once I like a person, I do like a person. And as I said, I'm picky as well with my friends. So, but yeah, it's not done with bad intentions, I guess. Yeah. And as well, I guess for me with last, it's like sloppy with and stuff too. So that comes into it as well, I'd say.
Okay. So I noticed something about IPs, but you can tell me your personal experience with this, okay?
Yeah.
So from a double decider perspective, I feel like IPs are easy to trick. Okay. Like very easy to trick.
Okay.
Because IPs are not aware of what the tribe is doing. Therefore, unless you're someone that is aware of what the tribe is doing, you would definitely get fooled very easily. So I talked to my IP, one of my INTP friends about this, and he told me like I'm very gullible. Usually people tell me stuff, I just believe them. But for me, like I think that trap that IPs can fall very easily too, and I think Dave also confirmed this in one of the videos that he released a while back, was that if you're nice to an IP, they automatically think that you are their friend, and they're like, but you might have like ill intention in the back end, but they don't know that. So you're buttering them up with like nice things to say to them and stuff, and they'll completely fall for the compliments and the friendliness. But you have like like if the person is bad, like not everyone's bad. There's good and bad people, right? So if the person is like a bad person, then you can easily get tricked by them, And
yeah, that's true. I haven't thought about it, but and I guess I probably am once again seeing myself, but I'd like to think that I do have a good judge of character, and I kind of if something feels off to me and it feels like someone's being fake or that they have like other motives, I kind of feel like I can pick that out, but maybe I can't, but I feel like I can kind of. Yeah, I just like value obviously just genuine people, and I try to keep it that way in my life. Like I don't think, thinking back in my experience, I don't know if I've ever been tricked by anyone, or like, I don't know, I feel like I can kind of just see if someone's like trying to use me, or maybe that's just like my decider fear as well, like, oh, are they trying to use me or something? But like, not that I can think of I've been tricked, but maybe I am easy, I don't know, to trick. I do have a friend though, I'm pretty sure she's an IP because we're very similar, but she's so gullible. Oh my god, like she's getting better at it, but she really she used to believe anything you say. So that could be true, definitely.
Is your friend more introverted than you are? That could be the case. I think if you're more introverted, you don't know what the tribe is doing, because you're play savior, right? So
yeah. No, she's actually not really. No, she's not really introverted. Could just be an individual thing, maybe.
Is she not introverted with you? Maybe she's introverted with other people?
No.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, or well, I wouldn't say she's extroverted. She's just probably very similar to me. Like, I guess I'm technically an introvert, but I would see myself as kind of like a bit of both. Sometimes she's kind of like that. Trying to think of any other examples. Yeah, I'd say maybe it's more kind of like the demon play IPs that might fall prey to that. Yeah, because with NF play, kind of, I'd like to think anyway, you can kind of get a read of people. So yeah,
I think you'll have some awareness of it. It's not going to be like a complete blind spot, with
not complete.
You're still an IP, so it's not going to be as strong as like an EJ who's like completely aware what everyone's doing, right?
Exactly.
So back to the friendship question. You're energy dominant, so you're always trying to preserve your energy, or like manage your energy, I mean. Would you say when it comes to friendship, the one benefit of having a long-term friend is you can cut through the BS of small talk, and you can go straight to like just normal interaction, and it's like saves a lot of energy, right? You can go straight to the fun stuff, because usually when you meet people, you do have to go through the BS song and dance of like small talk first before you can go deeper, and then unless you have built like a long history with someone, you can't just go straight, usually normally. So do you say that if there is something that you would value about long-term friendship, it would be like you can just go straight to the point?
Oh yeah, like one thing I love about long-term friendships is just like you can lie around together, just being lazy energy doms and just like not say anything for a while if you're not feeling it. Like but just still be in each other's company. And yeah, just like not feeling like you have to have a certain level of energy for people as well. Like with a long-term friendship, like they've just known you for so many years, like you really do just feel safe with them and accepted that you can just chill out and not have to put your best foot forward, I guess, in that way. But with the whole small talk thing, I get what you're saying, but like if I do feel like I have to have small talk with a person, I most likely won't be friends with them anyway in the long term. So it's like I won't have to like keep engaging in small talk with them. Like it might just be like a once off or twice off or something. Because I do kind of just, even with people I don't know that well, I still like to kind of cut the crap. I'm just like not bothered to talk small talk. It's draining kind of for me. I'll try to get at something with them, like see if we can strike a chord together on something deeper, if you get me.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I kind of get you. I don't see small talk in as a negative light as you. I think small talk is an opportunity for a social experiment.
Oh.
Yeah, because like, what's that?
So a social experiment. Yeah, why is that? Like, in what way?
I mean, because like I'm gonna talk to someone. Clearly, I can already gauge that we're probably not. That this is not gonna be the kind of conversation that I would enjoy. But
yeah,
because I have FI, I can self-amuse myself, so I can do like some kind of a social experiment. I'm like, okay, I think this person's this type, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna throw out some stuff, kind of like with my TE, to see how this person would react. And then if they react the way that I want them to react, then I feel like I hit the gold mine. And then it's like, I'm like, yes, like I guess they are definitely this like archetype, you know.
That's so. See, I feel like you obviously have like a way deeper understanding of like typology and all of that, so you could probably play those more easily than I could. I do kind of try to do that as well, but like obviously not as in as deep of a way. Like I am trying to figure out a person's kind of type or why the way they do, or but at the end of the day, it won't ever turn into like a friendship probably, or maybe it will. I remember Dave saying in one of his videos, like, if you have feminine tribes, sometimes you can end up building this bullshitty relationship with people because like you're too afraid to like,
I don't know. It's true.
So that can happen, I guess. But yeah, that's so funny. Like that you see it as like a social experiment. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, also with feminine DE, right? We're not scared to poke the bear. So, yours, so like kind of what like Dave said is like if someone is like an aggressive like masculine DE, he thinks it's amusing to like jab at them to see them growl,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I think it's hilarious. I do that personally.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't see the tribe as threatening, right? Like I have feminine DE, so I think everyone's friendly. So I just poke the tribe, and then when they freak out, I'm like laughing my ass off inside, right? Like it's
funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get what you're like. Some people are easy to wind up. Yeah, I wouldn't say I personally do that, but I guess I could see the amusement you get from it, winding people up. That's funny.
Yeah, it could be an NE thing too. It's like, but then Dave also does it, so I don't think it's NE. He thinks it's also fun to poke the bear, right?
Maybe it's like a DI. Well, you're not DI, no.
I'm tribe above self.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it could be that as well, just like thinking you're above everyone or something, and taking the piss out of them or whatever, but probably not.
No, for me it's like it's a social experiment. It's like self-amusement. Like my play is NT. So when I want to figure something out, I'd like to do it with people. So I'm very comfortable with like, poking the bear to get the data that I'm looking for. So
you see, you do have to poke the bear, I guess, to get the information, right? Like, people will reveal themselves more, like you'll learn the deeper aspects of a person from kind of triggering them, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because if it's all just this small talk stuff, like what are you going to learn about them? Like nothing really. So
yeah,
I guess trigger points if that's what you want. But yeah, I would. I probably don't do that because I'm not a double decider. I'm like I'm afraid of rejection, so like I don't.
No, because it's like from a double-sided perspective. I know if you offend someone, you could always backtrack and fix it. It's not that, like, when you offend someone,
Yeah,
it's not the end of the world. You can do something nice in the back end to fix it. It's not hard. And
I once again I like read the person and see, like, because I can be pretty, what's the word? Like, I can straight up with people if I want in it, and like kind of like dark humor and stuff as well, but only to the people who I feel like it'll land with and who will get it. Like, I can be really just like DI with them if I want to be. But yeah, if it's someone I feel like it wouldn't land with, and I'd have, like, they just wouldn't get the poke or the joke or whatever it is. And then sorry, my phone is like stopping again. Sorry, yeah. If I feel like it won't land with the person, I'll just like completely refrain, because I don't want them to just like abandon me forever. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense from like an IP perspective. I think, like, the way I see it though is like when you build a friendship and like a new friend or a new relationship, whatever, the first few interaction is kind of how you set the tone of how this relationship is going to be. So I think it's very important at the get-go to reveal some of your true self right away. That way they get used to it, because like it's like it's like I think of it as social conditioning. So for example, for me, I like offensive jokes. Like, I like all sorts of offensive jokes, dark humor, racist jokes. I love all of it, right? Like, so it's like, so for me, when I meet people, I'll tell them right away that I like this kind of stuff, and I'll throw them out, even if it's offensive, even if I know it's not going to be taken well, because I know then the next time I do it, consecutive times, they'll just be like, it's just Kendrick being an idiot, like it's.
That's like really preserving energy for you as well, if you're aware of that. Because it's like you don't have to keep up this facade of like, like, it's just like, no, here, this is who I am, this is what I find funny, if you like it or leave it. And I guess I wish I could do that more, but there are a lot of people that it does land with. At the same time, it's not like I'm completely deprived of being able to use dark humor or whatever. So yeah, no, it's like a sorting process almost. It's like you cut the people immediately, like, or that like you wouldn't gel with anyway.
Right. It's a good filter to see, like, exactly like what you said, to see who you gel with or not.
Yeah.
What about romantic relationships? How do you view it personally, like, on your type?
Romantic relationships. Sorry, I'm just gonna like plug my charger in. Sorry, I'm being so annoying. My phone's like at 10%. So romantic relationships. Oh my gosh. Love how I'm doing this mid-interview. Okay, maybe I'll have to turn my camera sideways. No, it's okay. Right, we'll leave it there. Romantic relationships. Yeah, I was in a 3-year relationship. I think he was an IP as well. So that obviously. But I think in general, I am kind of more attracted to kind of introverted guys, I guess. Like, I'm more drawn to them. It's not to say that I would be completely against a relationship with like a really extroverted person. But I feel like if they're too extroverted, I can't keep up with them almost sometimes. So yeah. And in my relationship, in my like previous relationship, I wouldn't say there probably were times that I was like selfish and everything. But I did also want to like be a good partner for them and, do all the FE things for them as well. So yeah, I'd like to think I'm like decent enough in relationships. Yeah.
If you consume play, chances are you would be attracted to blast sleeps. Would you say that there's some truth to that?
Yeah. I guess, look, I'm still only 23, like I haven't had too much experience, but I do find that them attractive. I definitely find like high sleep attractive. Yeah, like, which would be more introverted, I guess. And it's like I don't have to take the role of like being the more introverted one then, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I'm kind of like able to do the consume sleep thing, or sorry, the consume play thing. If I'm the more extroverted one in the relationship. But yeah, I find obviously like I think masculine sensory attractive as well and stuff. I think like double feminine guys, like they're like, I have a lot of double feminine friends and stuff who are guys, but I think that it provides a nice balance having like different sexual modalities too, in my experience anyway. Would you say, what type is your girlfriend?
Oh, she's like almost my opposite.
Oh really? Oh
yeah, I was surprised when she got type as her type. I'm like, oh great, it's like the stereotypical relationship. But
yeah.
So I'm an ENFP, play, blast, consume, sleep. So my girlfriend is an INTJ, sleep, consume, play, blast. So almost pretty much my opposite. She's double feminine though, masculine feminine. So we're not completely opposite because of the she's double feminine, I'm masculine feminine.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
it doesn't have to be complete opposite. Look, obviously relationships are such a complex thing. Like human psychology is so complex, so obviously relationships are going to be complex too. You know, it's not really that easy to make a formula out of it. Like, but I guess maybe in general, like, you know, different sexual modalities like are more attracted to each other. But yeah, like that's not to say it's like the be all and end all or whatever. People of all types have fulfilling relationships. So
I think in the classes, Dave and Shan said that besides the sexual modalities, the other thing that they've seen happen is your first animal. And if your first animal is the opposite of the first person's animals, yes, the opposite, then there is more chance for an attraction. So my first animal is double feminine and her first animal is double masculine.
Oh, interesting.
And my first animal is play, hers is sleep, which is the opposite. So
yeah.
So just based on that, you could see how it kind of fits, you know?
Yeah, no, there's definitely more intricacies to it than just, like double or visuals are attracted to audios, and you know, because there are even different functions. Like let's say, for instance, I'm seeing like an ENTJ, and he's like audio, and I'm like double feminine. It's like it's like our sexual modalities for the functions are still opposite. Like he's going to be masculine feeler and I'm going to be feminine feeler, and it's like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Sorry, my blast is like really bad.
Yeah, no, I have seen that. I find that very interesting where if someone has masculine FI and the other person has feminine FE, well, technically they're both feminine DE, right? But because of where the feeling is, it still kind of matches.
Exactly.
It's weird.
It matches in that way. Yeah.
I think that's weird. Or like feminine TE with masculine TI, you know, like it's
like so it kind of, exactly. I think like that works as well a lot. So, but yeah, I've yet to, you know, experiment in that way. I have a lot more relationships ahead of me, I'm sure. So yeah.
I do notice that IPs, you know, they tend to be like serial daters. So like,
really, I guess I feel like maybe it's to do with like being FE as well. It's kind of like you kind of find it easy to just like share emotions with people in the moment, and not get as attached as like an FI would if you're dating people.
I think the best example is Taylor Swift, where she gets abandoned every few years.
Oh yeah.
but she has no problem getting into a new relationship. She just gets
she picks herself back up like no problem.
Yeah, and then she'll make a song out of it and make millions of dollars, and then she'll
like she owns it.
So
what type is she again? Is she an ISFP or something?
Yeah, she's a visual ISFP.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I feel like for me anyway, like I did have a long-term relationship, but I'm not quick. Like I said to myself, I'm going to take a year off. Oh, that sounds so bad, but like I'm not going to like jump straight into another relationship because I have a lot of like self-development to do as an IP, you know. So I don't know if I'm a serial dater. Like I would like kind of maybe have a short thing with a guy, but I'm not like eager to get into another relationship. I feel like I definitely need to like sleep process every relationship and heal from it fully and learn all the lessons I need to learn from it before I jump into the next relationship, or else I'm just gonna, you know, experience the same, or like I'm gonna get triggered by the same things, and like I want to be like a more developed version of myself before another relationship, if you get me.
I get you.
It's such a DI thing to say, oh my god. But
I'm just looking at my INTP friend, and like he just got engaged, and And then he's engaged to like an ESTJ. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like a Bill and Melinda kind of relationship, you know, like
yeah.
Melinda Gates was typed as an ESTJ, right? So
yeah.
So I was like, of course, this is what
like it's like the stereotypical Myers-Briggs pairing, you know, as well as your girlfriend. There must be something to it, I guess.
I know, because like he was like, yeah, you know what, I'm ready to get married, I'll just go find someone's good enough, whatever. That's what he said to me, right? And then he's like, I don't really care, you know. And then
no way.
Yeah. I think he has feminine TI, so it's like very flexible. But like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely would not do that. Oh my God. Yeah. I definitely have like really high standards for relationships personally, because I feel maybe it's like being an energy dom as well. I see it as like, you know, I just see the amount of time and energy that a relationship takes, and obviously it's worth it, but it does take up so much of your mental space and energy. So it's like, I'm not just gonna like do that for anyone. I'm not just gonna choose anyone to just like be in my space all the time and kind of be in my energy. Like I definitely need to feel like the best version of myself around that person. Like I need them to bring that out of me, and like I want us to grow together, you know, all that IP stuff. But I think that's hilarious. That like, I'm not surprised. I think a lot of people do that. You know, they just like choose a person if they feel like it's time to settle down, and that's the way it is, you know. But hopefully he's happy.
I mean, I think it's the right match, because I met her, so he introduced her to be in my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And then I think he wanted me to type her too. So it's kind of
funny. Okay, yeah. I'll hear your motive.
Yeah, he always does this. He'll bring someone over. He's like, okay, I want you to type this person. Like, you know.
It's like, dude, stop.
So yeah, he brings his girlfriend, and later he wants to ask me her type, right? So I'm like, so we're hanging out there, and I'm like, so this person seems to have a lot of decider problems or decider things. And number two, I can tell my friends the boss, like the IP is the boss. So I'm like, okay. Usually in a relationship, there's like the leader and the support, you know. So not saying, you know, like some people prefer to be the support role in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So I think people get a bad rap for that. But anyways, I think the girlfriend definitely, or his fiance definitely prefers to be the support role.
Okay.
But I think they take leadership in different areas. Like I think when it comes to like investments, I think she takes up leadership because he doesn't care, you know. But like when it comes to making decisions of like where they would go on vacation and stuff, then he's the leader, you know, because she'll be like, can we please go there? That's what she'll say, right? But the one thing I noticed when she introduced the girlfriend or the fiance, I mean, I was like, this person doesn't ping back when she talks to people.
Oh, okay. Play last probably.
Yeah, she's play last. Like I'm like, this person's play last. Like this person doesn't ping. There's no pinging. Like
no pinging. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll tell a joke to someone or like converse with them. It's just like just no ping. It's just like, huh?
Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, it's like
it's just like what? There's nothing, you know. But if you ask a question, though, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it can be a bit awkward. Like you're trying to figure out how to interact with them, and it's just kind of like you don't know if you're offending them or if they like you or if they don't, or because there's just no ping back. So it's hard to read them, I guess.
I think that's what's hard about talking to play last people is like, you know, no offense to other play last people, of course, but like, you know, it's like sometimes I'm talking to a play last person and it's like a blaster exchange, you know, I have to blast something to you and then they blast something to me. And I'm like, this is not like, you know, this is not a fluid conversation. This is like robotic, you know?
Yeah, kind of just, see, I can't even do that because I don't even have blast. So it's
you
it's like,
blast last.
I'm relying, so like I'm relying on play. So I'm like, like, come on, let's play together. And then they're kind of just unresponsive sometimes. And I don't know what to do because it's like, I don't want to blast at them. I don't know how to blast at them so I try to find, it's like, you try to find similar grounding to make things work. But I don't know. I feel like I do obviously, have play last people in my life and they're great, but it can be a bit hard to know where you stand with them, or you know, or if they just want you to shut up. Like I don't know. I get that feeling sometimes.
Okay, well, I'm curious. So you are blast last. It means you are not info dominant. My beef with blast last people is you guys don't communicate as well as like so I see it with my girlfriend who's blast last. I see it with like my friends who are blast last, and I think making plans is the hardest. So I don't know if any of your friends ever complain to you about this, but you're like, come on, we're trying to set a date for something. Can you just give us, can you give me a final date? You're like,
literally, yeah.
Later, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's been so annoying for people in my life. Like when I was in my teens, I had this group of friends, and like they would tell me specifically just to come 15 minutes early. They would say, oh yeah, we're meeting here at 7 o'clock, even if they were supposed to be meeting at 7:15, just to make sure I was on time. And stuff like that, just being kind of like flaky, I guess. Maybe that's like a last thing as well.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, definitely is a flaky last thing.
Yeah, oh my God, so flaky. And it's like, that's why I love this whole system, because it's like, oh my God, yes, I'm finally like, I'm aware that this is an issue and that it's annoying for people. And even in one of their classes, like they talk about how blast can actually, and like high consume can actually be like the most controlling type, because it's like you just want to leave plans open like to an annoying degree where everyone else is left hanging, like, oh come on, like what's the plan? So now that I know that I'm blast, I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of like, oh, this is my free time, you know, like I'm trying to be more organized, but and even with organizing in general, me and my sister were in Paris over the weekend, and I'm pretty sure, I know I got my type wrong, but like I'm pretty sure she's an INTP, like play last, consume sleep. So she has like blast, you know, as third. And she was like, basically she planned the whole thing every day. She knew what to do. She had been researching all of the things to do in Paris and the restaurants to go to. Like she was actually Googling reviews for restaurants, which I just never do when I go to a new country, and I end up in the crappiest restaurants ever, but I just can't organize myself enough to Google the reviews. But so she taught me how to do that over this holiday. She was telling me, okay, Yvonne, you look into restaurants now, that's your job, you know, you find us some good reviewed restaurants. But yeah, it's just hard for me to organize. It's like, to me it's like my consume can just see all of the information that's out there, and there's just so much to do, and it's like hard to just narrow it down and make a plan, you know.
It sounds like your friend has TE.
No, it's actually my sister.
Your sister, sorry. It sounds like she has TE.
she might, but I honestly think it's just because she's like, well, who knows, honestly. But I think it could be just she's an infodom, and maybe she wants to know like the best restaurants, and like she loves food. Like she just wants everything to be. Maybe she has TE. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. It's possible. I'm just saying it's possible. Let's just TE. You know, like...
See, the thing is, she said she doesn't enjoy planning, but she just has to do it because I'm so bad at it. Like she doesn't actually want to.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, it's not like she willingly like takes that role. It's just that she's more proficient at it than I am. So
I mean, she could be an EP with TE, right? They don't want to plan, but you know, if no one else is doing it, they'll do it. You know. Like...
Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to get her into typology. I need someone in my life, like, you know, in my family even, to like get into this so I can just talk about it with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would love to get her type or whatever. I honestly don't know. She's definitely play last though, I think. Yeah, she can have a hard time like pinging back with people. But yeah, there's a load of rambles for you.
you are you have play and sleep in the middle. So play and sleep are both decider animals. So you have consume as your first and blast last. It almost, and during the interview, it seems like you have a lot of observer problems too.
Oh my, that's why I thought I was an EP. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a lot of observer problems too. So, and I think it goes to your animals, because your animals, the way your animal, like your blast is like an observer animal, right? And you have it last.
Yeah.
So blast, so like control or organizing is like, you know, at the very bottom also. That's one of your biggest problem, right? Like for me, like I have a lot of decider problems because I play as my first animal and sleep as my last animal. So play is EJ and sleep is IP, right? So for me with sleep last, I have to learn to be more IP-ish. So I have to be like, take the what do you call it? The hero archetype. Because like, I don't know if you've like heard of this before, because I was thinking about it and I was like discussing with people, right? I feel like everyone has a role in the tribe, you know? Like the EP and IJ is the most obvious. Like the EP goes out in the woods and they go gather, you know, berries and hunt animals, whatever. Then they bring it back to the tribe. And then the IJ's goal is to control it. control the distribution of the resources. That way you can survive through the winter, because the winter still need less resources, right? So I can see the EP and the IJ. I can see the role in the tribe very clearly. Like it's very like obvious. So like, what about the EJ and IP? Like, what are their roles in the tribe, right? Well, like the EJ, they I guess they try to make sure that the tribe stays connected together, right? So for the longest time, I'm like, what is the IP's role then? So if the EJ's goal is to manage people and to, or not manage, but either manage or support people or keep everyone connected, because you know, like as a human, like the human's strongest trait, I don't think it's actually intelligence. I think intelligence is second. I think the first human trait that kept humans alive and the top apex predator essentially is the fact that humans work together. Like the, you know, like yes, like one human cannot kill a tiger, but 5 humans can. You know, the tiger doesn't even stand a chance, right? So it's the fact that you work in a group that like having the teamwork is what put humans above all the other species, right? So it would make sense why the EJ would want to make sure everyone stays together, because then that's the highest chance of survival, right? It's like together we are strong, but by themselves we are weak, right? You know, but then you think, okay, what's the IP's role then, right? You know, but the IP also serves an important role, like a very important role, especially if they learn how to blast. So I'll kind of like talk about like what I feel like their role is. Okay, so I feel like people think they have like a certain limitation in their life, but the IPs always want to be above everyone else. And to be above everyone else means you have to break through certain limitations that you place upon yourself, right? But when people see you break that limitation, they now know that's possible. So people with extrovert sensing can see you doing it. They'll be like, oh, if you can do that, that means we can all do it, which is true. Everyone can do it. They just didn't have that kind of confidence and self-belief, right? And the IPs do. The IPs were like, yeah, I don't care what everyone thinks or whatever. Like I'll do my own thing and I'll be the best. But once you reach the best, guess what? Everyone can also be the best, right? So another IP will step in. Another IP will step in to like, lift the bar up, right? So I feel like that's like the IP's role in the tribe, is to show them you can do more. You know, you just have to.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I think like, IPs obviously get a bad rap, but at the end of the day, I think life is inherently a subjective experience, and obviously my goal in life, like the thing, like my biggest calling as an IP is like to become self-actualized, I guess, and like just see how deep I can go on my identity and on myself. And I do see the utility of that, of course. Yeah, it like elevates the tribe at the end of the day if you do make these new discoveries about how deep you can go. And it like all of the IPs who have, like, you know, in history, who have made a difference, like it's undeniable that like we do have a place in the tribe. And yeah, at the end of the day, like as I said, you know, having FE, it's like I don't want to be there alone. You know, like I want to like develop myself so that we can all be better, if that makes sense. Like it's not, it is selfish in a way, but it's also like it provides utility for people too, if I do go like deep on myself. So yeah, I think that's our role. But yeah.
Well, I feel like the IPs, like if you look at from like I guess tribalism, whatever, like the ones that stick around are the ones that blasted, because like they got themselves to a point, and then now they're like older, and then now like, okay guys, I'm gonna teach you how to do it, you know.
That's what I kind of, that's like my goal in life, even though I'm last, like I do, I want to like uncover like TI truths or whatever and like blast it, even though it's not going to be easy, but like the whole point of like going so deep is like, you know, to tell people. So yeah, and it's like, I think with IPs as well, it's like you do need a temperament who isn't going to easily conform, because I think like I'm very into like group psychology and what all of that, and I think like people have a tendency to conform to the group, and that can lead to like, you know, echo chambers and groupthink and, you know, negative feedback loops. And it's like you do need someone to kind of, you know, give people a reality check sometimes if their system isn't working and if they need a new shift or, you know, to a new paradigm. So in that way, that's another utility, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't stand group think. I hate it. Like,
I know, same way. Sorry, I'm gonna be annoying again. I just need to check if this is charging. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, no, groupthink. Oh my god, and you just see it play out so much in the world. Like people aren't really doing the research. Like they're not looking into both sides of an argument, and they're kind of just, yeah, just like readily conforming. And it's like, have you not seen all of human history and how much damage that's caused? You know, like as if we have it all worked out. Like there's just so much we don't know, and it's kind of like, yeah, we should all be trying to like get to, I don't know, truths and stuff. I know that's, yeah, TI, but anyway, what were you going to say about it?
Well, I just feel like when it comes to major life decisions, you should not engage in groupthink because I think that's very dangerous. But for the small stuff, sure, I don't care, you know, like,
yeah,
okay, like following traffic rules. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, that's fine. You know, like, okay, I'll engage I'll engage in groupthink. I don't care. But like, okay, how I'm going to live my life, that like that there's no way I'm gonna engage in groupthink. That is deadly, you know, because everyone's you know, everyone is an individual. So, you know,
yeah, of course. Whether you're DE or DI, you're an individual at the end of the day.
Yeah, and what works for you or what makes you happy is different from the next person, right? I mean, yes, we have our OPS type and we are like robots with our own programming, but
yeah,
still there's like different, like that's just like the genetic side of things. That's nothing into considering the environmental part of your personality, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right, so I have last two questions for you, Yvonne, and then we'll wrap up the interview. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your sexual modalities. You are tester and visual. So the way tester has been shown is like they like smell. It's like a smell thing. Yeah.
I love how you actually like got your fingers. Yeah. Because I have an obsession with like smelling my hands. Anyway, we'll get to that, but yeah.
Yeah. I like to smell my hands through my skin, especially when it's like the sun hits it. I don't know, it's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like to smell the sun, like when your skin is burnt by the sun. I don't know, it's weird.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Why not?
That's my weird quirk. I used to smell my skin after being outside for so long, and then my youngest sister will also do the same thing.
Oh no way!
We're all being
so you're
weird,
all
right?
Walking around the house like smelling your hands.
Yeah, we're all being weird, right? We're like.
But like it feels like such for me anyway, like such an animalistic drive to like smell myself, because it's like, I know this is gonna sound weird, but look, I didn't make the human programming, but like, you know, if I smell my hands, it feels like it contains information about myself that I need to know. Like if I just ate a certain food and I can smell it from my hands, or like when I wake up in the morning, or like, and it's funny because I've been caught out sometimes like by my friends just like smelling my thumb, or like, and they're just like, are you smelling your fingers right now? But but like, yeah, and I actually don't feel as bad about it, because I watched this video and it was like an experiment. It was set in like a dental office, and there was a camera in the room, and so what would happen is like the person would come into the dental office, the patient, and the dentist would shake their hand, and every single person smelled their hand after they shook the dentist's hand. So I feel like it's definitely an evolutionary thing, like where we unconsciously or consciously are picking up information about the other person and their maybe hygiene levels or something about them from sniffing. But it was like an unconscious like hand movement up to their nose. Yes. So I think it is a very like primal kind of like drive in us, definitely, to smell.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the tester takes it to the next level, you know, like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I smell everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
Even if something smells bad, I guess you could still find something fascinating or enjoyment about it.
Yeah, do you know, I do get enjoyment from like really smelling something and like trying to figure out the words for what it smells like, you know, what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
You know, and it could just be some weird mix of like gone off cereal and like, I don't know, grass, and I'll just be like, yeah, that's what it smells like exactly. I don't know, and it's like, it's so useless.
Yeah.
But I get enjoyment out of that for some reason. Yeah. But even with being a tester, that like, it's kind of to do with like your like all of your senses as well, is it, or is it just like smelling mostly? Or
I think for tester, the way it was described is you like to smell things, but you also like to experiment with like food in different scents, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, David.
I have an example. Sorry, what's that?
Well, I mean, I'll just finish this thought and you can finish.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave just made like a dark humor in his like video when he was talking about the tester. It's like yeah, the villager sent the tester to go test the I don't know, like the I don't know, the mushroom or whatever, that's, or like whatever the vegetation is, and then if they got, and then a lot of them will get poisoned and get killed, right? But like that's a tester's job in the tribe, is to try out to see if it's safe, you know.
Yeah, and like die.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, but I think it's kind of funny because like the way they said it is like double feminine is the most common sexual modality. So I guess you need a lot of them to try, because you need a lot of them to try out. You need to sacrifice all of them.
All I can say is I'm glad I'm living in the 21st century.
Yeah, you would be dead.
Yeah, literally, like, but even, I feel like, because my mom is definitely double feminine, and like we're like the best ones in the house for like smelling meat to see if it's like okay. Like she'll always come up to me, like, just like, Yvonne, does this meat smell okay? Like if it's in the freezer, and I'll be like, you know, and we'll really give it a good smell. But yeah, even with like tasting and stuff, over the summer, like I like going on walks around my area. Like I kind of live in the countryside in Ireland, and like the berries would be coming up from the trees, and I just like love, like, picking them off the tree and eating them, and I just feel like a real hunter-gatherer or something. Like I just like that experience of like going out and like just seeing what's out there and tasting stuff and smelling stuff.
See, I would never do that. I would never pick a fruit from the tree and eat it, because like I'm like,
oh really? In case it's like poisonous.
Yeah, we're like dirty. Yeah, so clearly you're doing it like animalistically, you know, just like, you know.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like, I mean, I guess I just trust that in Ireland it's okay, but I probably, like there have been times I've eaten berries and they're kind of like, they taste disgusting, and I have to spit them out. But it's probably it would be dangerous, I'd say, like, you know, thousands of years ago to be a tester.
Yeah. Thank God you're born in the right time.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pros and cons to everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Everything we're talking about makes a lot of sense, like from an evolution standpoint, or like a hunter-gatherer, or like a tribal standpoint. Like,
yeah. That's why I kind of wondered. I was like, oh, I'm like, this is a very SE thing to do. Like to want to go out and just like test things and stuff. Maybe it's not, but like I do feel like I do get really lost in my senses and the visuals and the smells and the tastes of things, you know, like it's like an experience for me almost.
Well, I feel like everyone can use all the function, but they can't go deep. So like, for example, I don't have SE, neither do you, right? But we're still using extrovert sensing. You know, we can still we can still gather facts, you know. You know, so, and we can still compare like who's bigger, who's stronger, you know, who looks better. We can still do that SE stuff. So we have like a shallow use of it, you know, but we don't have the same use as like the true SE people who's like super athletic. They can like, you know, jump over the fence or whatever. Like, you know, like it's
jump over the fence.
Yeah, it's like the way Dave calls it. It's like, you know, their lead SEs, they can jump over a fence, you know, like.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, because like, you know, like a nerdy INTP, they'll run over the fence. They'll be screwed, you know.
Especially like a double feminine, like, you know, like I'm such a noodle body, like. I would just like, fall over the fence.
Sure, yeah, maybe a kinesthetic INTP can still jump over the fence, but like the
probably, but like I would just like literally fall over it.
Oh man, you're like, if you live in a different timeline, you would be dead for sure, because like you'll eat something poisonous. If you're running away from an animal, you'll be the one that's getting killed.
Yeah, but I feel like then hopefully, you know, if I have a bit of a double feminine charm, that people will look out for me and stuff like that. I'd have to rely on other people to keep me safe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Is like the double masculine would be like, oh, yo, you're like weak. I need to like protect you. You know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm audio too, right? So like I think Dave described audio as being able to sense vibrations. So like,
interesting.
So I guess like from a hunter-gatherer standpoint, like if you're out hunting, you can like sense if like something's coming or creeping up to you, because you have like such a strong sense of hearing. Because I noticed that with me, I did like a social experiment with myself. I put earplugs, and it was kind of weird, and then I closed all the lights. I didn't know where I was going, but then the moment I took off the earplugs, I knew how to navigate my way around my apartment. Like, so it was
from the sounds.
Yeah, so it was like Daredevil, you know, it's like vibration. Like I can.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's so funny, because like there's I watched this like random video of a guy who's blind, but he uses like a bat, like echolocation, to get around on his bike. Like he'll just like do this like clicking noise, and he'll be able to, he's obviously audio probably, but yeah, he'll be able to sense where he's going, like just from the feedback he gets from like his clicking noises, which I would never be able to do. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's a weird superpower for sure. I mean, it's also bad because like I have trouble sleeping or I wake up easily because
of noise.
Noise, exactly. I have to put earplugs on usually if I want to get a deep sleep. So, but but you can see from like a tribal perspective, that's very useful because if the audio can be woken up very easily, then that means if there's like a predator nearby, you know, you can alert the tribe and then you can all wake up, right? So it's definitely,
that is very useful.
Yeah. So I think like yeah, for you to test out the food and for me to like wake up at night to like alert.
Yeah, for me to die and for you to save everyone. Yeah. Yeah. Great trade-off.
yeah, it's
yeah.
That's why there's a lot of double feminists. So
that's actually hilarious. But I'd love to like really be transported back into that time and like see how all the personality types like, play out and what their real role is. And it'd be so interesting to see. Because obviously everything's developed for a reason, everything served a purpose. So it's just like our job now in this modern time to uncover that by looking to psychology. So
well, I mean, if you look at the double masculines, they're also not very common, right? Compared to double feminines and masculine feminines. So I feel like if there was like a threat in the tribe, it was double masculine that defended the tribe, right? So a lot of them got killed defending the tribe from external.
So are you saying they didn't reproduce then because?
Well, I'm not saying they didn't reproduce. I'm saying they got killed off when they tried to defend. Yeah. So you know you can reproduce, but you can get killed off too. You know, I mean, at some point, the double feminines stop getting killed from eating the bad food, right? You know, the humans figured it out, and now they just stay alive and they're like populating. You know,
you're talking about us like we're vermin now or something. Something needs to kill us off.
Yeah, you're an invasive species now.
Yeah. Just they're multiplying like rabbits. Oh my god, get rid of them.
yeah, like yeah. But there's also a lot of masculine feminine, so there's a lot of us too. So you know, there's too many feminine DEs, right? So
yeah, there are. Didn't they say in one of the classes that there's like it's like 70% are feminine DE or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. So
but then again, I think it is easy being feminine DE as well. Like things are pretty like you do always need masculine DE to balance us out, but I feel like maybe more developed just because like it's just easier for everyone to get along if there's more feminine DEs maybe.
Yeah, I think feminine DE is a little bit more submissive, so it's like you don't care what the tribe really does. It's like, well, you just go with the flow, right? So
yeah, you're just like you're masculine decider yourself, so you're just kind of like
yeah, like if you want to do something yourself, you just do something when you're on your own, right? So but when you're a tribe, you just go with the flow. But like you know, I guess a lot of the double masculines, or like not even double, like masculine DEs, they probably got killed off, you know. And then I guess the visual, they don't have the power that double masculines have, because double masculines, they're like super kinesthetic.
Yeah.
But if you're FM, then you're probably built similar to like a double feminine, and you know, so but you're aggressive, so it doesn't help.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, so you're aggressive, but you don't have like the kinesthetic to like fight it or stuff.
Yeah, you can't
same way.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't defend yourself. So So you have visual, right? How do you see your visual being useful, you know, for yourself and like from a tribe perspective?
Honestly, it's not. Like I just like to dress nice.
Yeah.
That's my visual use in the modern world. Like I don't know. I guess like
in the modern world, visuals just for Instagram.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. God is like, fuck you all, like why?
Yeah.
But no, visual, I don't know, I do just like things being visually aesthetic, I guess, and I've been kind of into art a bit, like I do like painting and drawing and stuff. I don't know what utility it would have for the tribe necessarily. I think it's more of like for my own enjoyment. Like I also have like really vivid dreams. I don't know if you would have that or if that's like a visual thing, but I have it. You have intense dreams, like visual.
Maybe it's NE if it's like really vivid and crazy.
Yeah, like I have just the weirdest. I actually, funnily enough, I have this reoccurring dream that I'm being excluded from the tribe. That's
my god.
Which is just like obviously like my, you know, demon FE is just like so deeply rooted in my subconscious that like it's coming to life in my dreams all the time. But it's funny because in Jordan Peterson's book Beyond Order, one of his clients would become lucid in her dreams, and she would ask the characters of her dream, like, what do you represent? So I did that one night. I asked, like, there was a group of people and they were all like dressed similar, kind of, you know, in skimpy clothes, and I was like so busy judging them. I was like, oh, like, what are they wearing and whatever. But anyway, so then I became lucid and I asked one of them, what do you represent in my dream? And he said, you're jealous of us. And that just like woke me up. I was like, whoa, I didn't even realize I was jealous of them, like being part of a group, because I was too busy judging them. Anyway, sorry, that was just such a random consumed story about me. But like, yeah, I think dreams can be really interesting in that way. I think they can tell you a lot about your subconscious and what's going on there. I don't know if you're the same.
Yeah, no, 100%. I your story, I like your story because it's I think your dreams is trying to tell you something about yourself. And you're supposed to, it's like like the truth about yourself that you need to confront and like address, you know. Like I have my recurring dream is not being rejected by a tribe. I've never had that dream once, like those kind of dreams, never. My dreams,
wow.
Yeah, no, my dreams are always like similar. It's like a zombie apocalypse, like I'm fighting tons of zombies, you know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And is that like, would you say that's like an EP thing, like, or no?
Oh, I've always been attracted.
Would you relate it to that in any way?
Well, I've always been attracted to like this dystopian society, you know, where like there's an apocalypse and we have to survive. I think it's maybe it's an SI thing. I think your dream probably comes from your fourth function. Maybe I'm just
yeah.
So for me, it's like, yeah, if there's a zombie apocalypse, then what are you doing in a zombie apocalypse? Well, you're doing self-preservation, right? So that's SI. You're like protecting yourself physically and making sure that you're physically safe. So you have food, you have shelter, you know, no predator trying to kill you. So it feels like it's like an SI thing, maybe. Like that's what it's trying to tell me.
Probably.
Perhaps.
Yeah, like having to fend for yourself in the world and organize yourself and, you know, to survive.
Well, there's also like the dream. I like reading the dream dictionary, even though it's probably BS. But like
same. I know it's BS, but like then again, it's not. Honestly, I think if you can derive meaning from something, then it's not BS. Like even the likes of astrology. I mean, it is annoying to the degree that people are into it. Like when I went to America over the summer, it's like a religion. Everyone's like, oh, what's your star sign? You know, and they'll like read you, you know, and treat you based on your star sign. I just find that funny in America because it's not like that in Ireland at all. But yeah, I think, look, if it helps people with their self-awareness, then there is some type of utility to it. You know, like if it shines a light on maybe a certain aspect of themselves that they're repressing, or I don't know, something like that. So maybe the same could be applied to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
to like dream analysis or.
Well, I read my dream dictionary. I read about zombie apocalypse. It said that I'm bored with my life. The zombie represents boredom, and
oh no way.
like you know, and I'm like,
EP thing, yeah.
It also makes sense, right? It's like an EP thing, right? Like I need more stimulation. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense also.
So it's like you'd rather something so drastic, like something as drastic as a zombie apocalypse to shake up your life so that there's some type of evolution, like.
Yeah, like
if things are stagnant.
I mean, you're a double server, so I don't know how you perceive it, but like for me, when shit hits the fan, that's when I feel calm. Like I don't feel calm when it's calm. I feel calm when
you need shit to hit the fan to keep things alive.
Yeah, when there's a calamity and all the IJs are like freaking out, that's when I'm strangely very calm. I'm like,
interesting.
Like I'm now in my element. Like I'm supposed to be in this state, and like I can solve the problem with a clear head because
like you're going under pressure.
Yeah, especially if it's like people related kind of chaos. Because I for example, like last year I worked for the Canadian election, and there's like thousands of people that would like rush in this building, and everyone's like, you know, you get the whole variety of different personalities that would go there, right? You know, you have the crazies that don't want to wear their mask. You have people who are like trying to shame people, like maybe an ESFJ is like, shame on you, shame, like so I'm like, it's almost chaotic environment. I can see my coworkers all freaking out, right? But for me, because I'm an EP, I'm like, I'm in my element here, and I was, and I did.
Wow.
Like I got so much compliments for doing such a great job at like managing people, but they don't know that I'm an idiot when it comes to the last part of the election, which is now sorting the boxes and tabulating every single details about the election. That I got paralyzed when we got to that part. Like I didn't know what to do. I was like, what, we have to fill the form line by line now and count everything and make sure that every single paperwork is in the right box. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you like freeze.
But all the other people, they were like, that's when they thrive. But the rest of the day they were freaking out with the people stuff. But for me, it's like, oh, the people stuff is easy. It was a 17-hour shift, right? And I was fine, like dealing with people the whole day, like 12 hours with people or 14 hours. I was fine. It's just that when the paperwork came, that's when I froze. So
yeah, that's so funny. Like, well, it's a nice thing, obviously, to be a double decider in that way, because like obviously you're interacting with people all day. So like if you were a single decider, I'm sure, yeah, you just see how annoying it can be to just like be thinking about people all the time and judgment and stuff like that. So there are pros and cons to each. I also would say I hate the paperwork. It wouldn't make me freeze, but yeah, it's I see how it could be annoying, and yeah.
I like, yeah, I mean, you have blast and it's ST, right? So that's kind of like the paperwork stuff. But
yeah,
or like SF, sorry, that's SF actually, sorry. But your SI is feminine, so
yeah.
But yeah, when I was working in election, I like observing the deciders because they get really weird. So I'm like, you know.
Yeah. Another one of your like social experiments.
Yeah. For
like,
me, it's nothing but it's a big social experiment for me, right? I'm like, so you're getting weird with this, eh? Like for example, like so I'm not scared of people, right? So at the start of the election, no one told me to do this. I just decided to do it myself. I did a speech, just like out of the blue, right? And all the deciders were like, oh, why, you're so brave to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I could literally never do that. Oh my gosh.
They're just people. Whatever. They need instructions on what to expect for the day. Like it's normal, you know, like it's not weird.
It's just because you don't have that fear of rejection. It's like you can just get up there and make a speech, and you're not going to be thinking like, oh, how did I come across and what did people think? And you know, especially with like Demon FE, it's like, yeah, you don't know how the tribe are perceiving you, so it's a thing you're trying to process all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like with you just don't care, and it's like that's just it sounds very easy, I guess. But I think with IPs, like a big thing is like to work on your confidence. I think like that's something that's been incredible for me, just confidence building, because then you just give less of a shit what people think, because you've more of a robust kind of sense of self yourself. And like I think confidence affects blast a lot as well. Like when I used to be less confident, I would really overthink everything I was going to say, because I was like, oh, how will this come across? And my blast would be just way worse. But now it's just kind of flows more easily, because I have confidence in what I'm saying, I guess. So that's a tip for blasters, I guess. If you're not confident, like work on that. But anyway, sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, it's not that I'm not scared of being rejected. It's just that when I was doing the speech, I wasn't thinking about myself. So if I'm not thinking about myself, I'm not self-conscious. I'm thinking about, you know, like I'm thinking about the other people. Because I worked in an election 2 years ago, and I worked with like the dumbest idiot, like supervisor ever. He was so dumb and stupid, and he had so much. I think he was a decider too. Like he had so much, probably an ESFJ fan, I guess. No offense to other ESFJs, you're not dumb. You know, just this guy was dumb.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. This guy, he's probably like consume last. Not saying bad things about consume last ESFJs again. Like, you know, but this guy, but he was definitely dumb, and he just kept giving wrong instructions to people, and we had to redo everything. And whenever we don't ask him questions, he feels insecure because he doesn't feel like, you know, people take him seriously, which we don't, because he's dumb and he's telling us the wrong stuff. So obviously
he's not getting the validation.
Yeah, so it's because he doesn't know what he's doing. So obviously we're gonna ask the person that knows what they're doing, because he doesn't know, and he's gonna screw us over. So I'm like, I don't want to be in a position again where these people have to deal with some idiot, and I want their day. So I'm thinking about the tribe's well-being, right? I want their day to go well. So if I make everything perfectly clear, expectations are obvious, then your day is gonna go by really fast, and there's no issue here. So for me, I'm not thinking about myself, I'm thinking about like themselves, you know, like.
Well, that's like TE, I guess, like being savior TE.
Yeah, but then I could also see the tribe, because I'm watching the deciders being weird, watching me on the side, right? Like I'm like looking on the side of my eye, I'm glancing at them, right? Like,
yeah.
and there was this one woman, I don't know what type she is, probably like an ENFJ or something, like, or like some consume last EJ or something. And I can see her feeling threatened when I'm talking to the tribe, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm thinking to myself, like, quit being weird. Just like I'm not here.
That's her role. Like,
I'm not here to take. I'm not here to take your role. You know.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm just doing my job. You know. Like,
yeah.
Can you stop being weird? Like, she gave me a weird look, right? And I'm like, and then she's trying to like outdo me later on, and then people are just getting upset at her because she's being like bossy, and I'm like, oh, like,
yeah, like making life more difficult for herself almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People are weird, so whatever.
People, yeah.
People are weird, whatever. Yeah. All right. Anyways, we're gonna wrap up the interview. Do you have any final remarks or questions before we wrap it up?
Do you know what? I actually do have a question. I want to ask you about FI, because that's something I thought I was for so long. So I obviously had a completely false construct of it. So I just want to know, like, how do you I don't even know how to phrase the question, but like, just how do you experience FI, and like, how do you feel your feelings, and how have you, like, what are your attachments to things with your FI?
How I experience my FI?
Yeah, it's probably hard. Obviously, look, it's hard because you don't know any different, but like, just for me, I'm trying to like understand what the functions are, I guess.
Okay, if I'm going to compare myself with my TI friends, the one thing I can say for sure for me is I know what I want and what makes me happy, emotionally happy. TI people don't seem to know what makes them emotionally happy. You know, they know what they want, but they don't know what makes them emotionally happy, which is it's like a weird thing. So for me, if I know with people with FE, they like to hang out with people and vibe with people, and have dinners and stuff and vibe with stuff. But if I'm not doing that, if I get disconnected from that FE stuff, I am fine. I know how to make myself happy. I'll go play some video games by myself, or I'll go watch something that I like, or I'll work on projects that I enjoy. So it's a little bit different from TI. With TI, you want to be effective, but with FI, I don't necessarily prioritize effectiveness. I might prioritize the challenge of persevering through something that is difficult, and getting through like a very difficult experience. So it's more like emotional toughness that I derive from doing something challenging, as opposed to like a mental stimulation from solving a puzzle. Yeah. So there's like those subtle differences. It's also FI and TI can be both illogical in their own way, but FI is a little bit crazy because it's like Dave said, you can't reason with FI. Sorry, with TI people, at least you could talk reason to them, but FI people, if they don't like you, they don't care. Like, you are done. Like, there is no reasoning with them, right? I don't know what's a good example. Like, a lot of people say that Putin has FI. So he's attacking Ukraine, and people might like reason with him why it's a bad idea. Like, the Russian economy will get hit hard. The Russian economy is not doing well to begin with. Blah blah blah. But because they think he has FI, he doesn't give a shit. He just wants to attack Ukraine because he wants Ukraine back. That's it. It's purely
that's it. Like, his FI wants it, and that's it.
Yeah. I want it. I'm gonna take it. You know, fuck all of you. You're right. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care about your logic. This is what I want. I'm gonna take it. So there's nothing logical per se about the FI. It's just like, I want this. I'm gonna take it. And it's even more illogical because you don't know where it came from. You know, it's like,
it just comes out. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't know the reasons for it as TIs would. Like, I know the reasons why I like everything, whereas like, you just like it.
Well, no, there's reasons to it, but
of course,
But the question is, how did the FI decide to latch onto that thing as the thing that they like? Like, what caused them to latch on that thing?
But I guess that's the same for TI though, because it's like, where do my interests come from? Like, I guess from obviously my psychology, but like, it's like, just because you know reasons for what liking something doesn't necessarily explain where it comes from at the end of the day. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. So I guess, and the TI is illogical in that sense too. It's like, what made you decide to pick this as your line of work? You know,
like what makes my reasons good? You know?
Yeah.
Like, because like you can make reasons for anything, you know, but it's like, why are they superior? Like, where's it coming from? So it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird one.
Because you can tell a story of how it came about, but that's just really you backward rationalizing why you chose that thing. But what made you latch onto it to begin with? You know, it's like
exactly, because there are so many things I could be interested in, but I still have like my narrowed down interests. So it's like, why are they superior to like everything else in the world? You know?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something I'd probably want to investigate actually. If I had to guess, you know, because I think we're both NE, so we both like guessing. If I had to guess, I feel like whatever you latch onto something, it was some kind of I think from like an evolution standpoint or like a survival standpoint, it made you feel safe, or it made you feel something that instinctually would make you keep you alive in a tribe or something. But there's like a lot of digging obviously that needs to come, you know,
be done. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like we know, well, like we do know a lot about the functions, but there's definitely like so much more depth to them, and what's the utility of all of them really. Because FI to me is an interesting one, you know, just like because Dave was talking about it and he said it's like you just know from a young age that you're just like, you just love this thing and you're just gonna devote your life to it, kind of thing. Like I know that might not be true for all FI users, but to me that's kind of like interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's weird for sure, because I'm looking at my early life now, and I don't know what made me latch onto those certain things, and even today I still, you know,
it just makes you feel a certain way. It gives you obviously the chemicals and all that. So
there's obviously there's like the dopamine or serotonin and stuff. There's the hit of the chemicals, but it can't just be that. It's probably something else, you know. But
yeah, exactly. Same with TI, I guess. Yeah, I get a hit from like the mental stimulation of learning something new, or like going deep on the logic of things. But yeah, who knows where anything comes from, to be honest. This human experience is weird.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be thinking about this now, because this is weird. This is I'm like, what makes people latch onto something, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
FI, you know, it's weird.
I guess it all just goes back to like it all served a purpose in the tribe somehow in evolution. It's just our species, you know.
Well, I mean, from an evolution standpoint, like our goal in life is not to be happy. Our goal in life is to keep our
survive.
To keep our species going, right, for as long as possible.
Propagate the species,
so like your DI, DE, whatever, you're all the same. You're not special. Your goal is just to move, you know, humanity.
Exactly. And it's so funny thinking about life in that way. Like, you know, even did you watch or do you know, is it David Hoffman or Daniel Hoffman, or he's like he's a scientist anyway, and he speaks on the true nature of reality, and the fact really goes deep on the fact that we're all like living off of biological programs that just are designed to propagate the species, and how we're not seeing all of reality. Like we've only evolved to see so much of reality that allows us to survive. So it's just kind of funny. It's like it's just I always have these really existential thoughts, like what really is going on, you know, what is going on beyond my scope of awareness that I just can't access right now. Like I feel like we're, compared to maybe some other forms of sorry, this is getting too deep into concepts, but like compared to other forms of intelligence maybe in the universe, like who knows, like we're probably like ants to them, or like dogs, like our level of intelligence.
Do
you know?
Yeah, no, it's probably so true.
Weird.
It's probably true. It's true. Like to them we're we're like dolphins or whatever.
Sorry, one more point. If you're into like psychedelics or anything like that, or like DMT, you know, a lot of people say if like they like go on like a trip or whatever, like they see kind of more intelligent life when they're on a trip, and who knows what's out there is all I'm saying.
Well, I haven't tried many psychedelics. I've only tried one, and it was I forget the name of it. It's legal though. It's a legal one. You can just purchase over the counter. It's a psychedelic.
Shrooms or
no, not shrooms. No. Weed is psychedelic, but
if you smoke enough of it, maybe. Maybe truffles or.
No, you smoke it for sure, but I forget the name of it. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I can't say it. People go on trips with this. Like someone.
Oh, ayahuasca.
No, not ayahuasca. No, 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 it's the one like I saw a video online. Someone did it and they felt like the couch was eating them. Like
oh, that's very I don't know.
But
it's so spiritual, but yeah.
No, the hit doesn't last long. It's like it's only 5 minutes. And like for me, I got sucked into a vortex and I was like floating in like a stormy cloud or something. It was weird.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It was very weird. Then I was like, half my consciousness was still in reality. The other half was in this dreamland because it was like a low dosage. So only half my consciousness went there. So I was stuck in the chair. I couldn't move my body, but I was hallucinating. It's so weird. But like,
yeah, that's kind of weird. Could you imagine if you took like a full dose? It's probably
been better because like at least I'm not
maybe it wouldn't be half in, half out kind of.
Yeah. But like one last point to what you were saying earlier, I think the human is special in a way because we could go against our programming. We wouldn't feel good to do it, but we could do it. So that's like the one skill that humans have, I think, is like the ability to, like if you chose not to be
sorry?
No, I'm just saying if you chose not to be an INTP today, you could. It would feel weird.
Yeah, technically, you're right. Actually, if you have that awareness of how to behave differently, but then again, deep down though, your psychological framework is still the same. Like it'd be like completely inauthentic to not be an INTP. Like it'd be like just playing a role. I don't know. I guess.
Well,
yeah, I feel like you'd be like, let's say I wanted to play like an ESFJ. Like I'd be being an ESFJ from my own INTP perspective, which would be an incorrect ESFJ. Like it might have the same behaviors, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you can choose not to identify with your default programming is what I'm trying to say. And you could be you could choose. It's gonna feel weird and inauthentic, but you could do it. You could do it and
go on a bit of a hero's journey.
Yeah, like it's like okay, like you can like a lot of people go on hunger strikes, right? That's kind of going against your default as a
true.
You know what I mean? So you have a choice to do like stuff that goes against your programming. I think that's like the only thing that humans have. That differentiates them from animals because animals can't go against that programming. They're stuck.
I think we have a higher level of being able to just create new scenarios and new outcomes as opposed to just I'm gonna wake up today and eat and like hunt and sleep, like there's more complexity of course to humans. It's like we're expanding in consciousness kind of almost so it's interesting to see where we'll not that I'll be around, but where we'll end up, in hundreds of years and stuff, if we're all still alive or if the humans are still alive.
I like how we started the interview about your type and now we're talking about evolution. Like,
I know.
it's the NE really went that far.
Wow, we really went there.
Outer space, yeah. All right. Well,
anyways, hopefully everyone can follow.
No, I mean this is a good example of like what really happens when you put two NEs together and you go to outer space, right? So it's
literally,
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming out, Yvonne, and sharing more about your life and sharing about your theories.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'll be like decider overthinking everything tonight. Like, oh my God. Like, why was I being so embarrassing? But yeah.
No, you're being your type, so it's fine.
True. Yeah. It's all science.
Exactly. Yeah, you're doing anti-nerd stuff, so it's good.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, and then see you around.
You too. Yep. Bye.